Hi everybody, and welcome to this video that I decided to do kind of twice in one day. I just did it in my language facilitation resources group, but I wanted to come live here on Facebook because I have a lot of friends who are entrepreneurs like me and follow my page because they are trying to move forward in their lives in one way or another. Those of you out there who are in transition in your life with what's going on in the world, there's lots of stuff, lots of change happening now with the energy of the planets and the energy of the country. And so, hey everybody, thanks for joining me live today. I just was compelled to come here on my personal page. I published this information already in a video in my language facilitation resources group, but I know that there's a lot of people on my page, my Waves of Communication page, on my YouTube channel, and here on Facebook who aren't privy to that group video. So I wanted to make another one to put on YouTube and Facebook to talk about how to use these moon cycles. And I was just really compelled to bring this information to all of you. It was a really long-winded start, but I guess it gave a chance for a couple people to join me. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Marcy Melzer, and I am an intuitive, and I also am a speech and language pathologist consultant. I have worked in the field of speech pathology for 30 years, and I realized that it was my intuitive ability to understand families' situations and help them sort of do some reflective looking at themselves and their situation by just pointing out some of the things that it's hard for parents to see. And when I was able to do that for families and help them understand what their problems were, I saw they're able to solve them. They're able to solve these problems. And these are big problems. These are nonverbal kids who are getting their kids verbal. So the way I learned how to do that, how to counsel people and intuitively figure out what's going on with their communication, wasn't something I learned at school. It wasn't something I learned from, from any kind of course. I didn't take a intuitive learning course. I know there are some out there. I didn't take a psychic course. I didn't take a tarot reading course. I didn't take any of that. The way that I communicate with people, I, am able to see things from other people's perspective pretty easily. And another word for that is intuitive. And I found out really just this year, after I've been even saying that I'm an intuitive for a long time, because I didn't even really study astrology until fairly recently, and I found out that I was born on a full moon. So go figure. That's when people say, I wonder where her energy comes from, now I can say it's because I was born on a full moon. So that's why my birthday happened on that day for sure. So what I'm going to do today is, if you're a business person or you're trying to solve a problem like losing weight, for example, because I think what happened to me was I learned how to put it together as a process from my own physical healing journey. In the process of healing my physical body is when I figured out that I was intuitive. And that's because what I started to do was listen to my body, and when I started to take action that was better for my body and respond to that, I started to do more of those things because I felt better when my body felt better. And now I'm 60 pounds lighter than I was before, and I do feel a lot better, and my body is different. But I didn't do it by, I did it by a process. And I wasn't realizing that I was using the moon, but when I started to put all of that together, I realized that that was a thing. So now the way I work with families kind of follows that same sort of 28-day cycle. And it always seems to turn out that when families start with me right around a full moon, their process just seems to kind of catapult through this sort of same kind of process. So if you are, what I kind of mentioned before, so this is for anybody out there who is waking up at night with a problem, something that's bugging you, something that you know is wrong or stuck or not moving forward, and whatever you've done so far obviously hasn't worked, so you're stuck in this situation. That's why you're worrying about it. That's why you're waking up at night in the middle of the night. For those of you who know tarot stuff, it's the 9 of Swords. It's the, worried at night with swords hanging over your head kind of energy. It's really no fun because you feel stuck because there's nothing worse than having a problem and not knowing how to get out of it. That's the problem I'm talking about. And so what I do whenever that happens to me in my life, whenever I feel like I don't know how moving forward looks, like what do I do? That's when I dig into this process. So this process is how I lost a bunch of weight, how I developed an online program, and how I coach parents in helping children how to help their late talking kids. So if you're, this is for anybody. So let's dig in now that I've got all this blabbering talking. Thanks so much for joining me, everybody. My name's Marcy Melzer, and I'm an intuitive speech and language pathologist. So here's step one. Step one I call get over overwhelm, overcome overwhelm, and identify the problem you can solve. Identify what it is. So it's two things are happening at full moon time. So we got a big super full moon tomorrow on Wednesday the 20th. And it's close to the earth. It's big full moon, and it's also the equinox. So we're changing seasons, big energy, big change energy flying at us big time. Can cause overwhelm. So like I said, if you're worried about something, whatever you're focused on, whatever your energy is focusing on, it's going to be amplified. So if you're worried, it's going to be amplified tomorrow. If you have an idea for a solution, it's going to be amplified tomorrow. If you have, this thing that I've always kind of wanted to do for my business, I kind of been looking at this diet change, I kind of been thinking about this exercise thing, like at least I could do it, or this gym membership flew in front of your face spontaneously and it was a gym you always wanted to and it happens to be on sale for the spring, whatever. You'll get a sign. You'll know what I'm talking about because it's the same thing that keeps you up at night, is what's causing this overwhelm. And what you have to do is you have to get over the overwhelm first, because you can't focus on moving forward if you're overwhelmed in the current. And this current is gone now. And this minute is gone now. And this minute, the minute they started this conversation, is gone already. So you don't want to waste any more time moving forward in this overwhelm. Step one, overcome overwhelm. Step two, figure out what is the problem here that I can solve, right? The problem is I want to have more clients. I want to be thinner. I want my child talking. I want my dog to not pee in the house. Whatever your problem is, that thing's keeping you up. You figure out what it is, but then you have to dial it back and you have to figure out what I wrote down here is figure out what you need to solve the problem. Okay, now it has to be something that's accessible. It can't be pie in the sky, right? It has to be, what do I need to solve this problem? If it's your dog peeing in the house, I need somebody to show me how to train my dog not to pee in the house, because your dog's not going to learn how not to pee in the house unless you train them. Same with talking. Your child's not going to learn how to talk unless you teach them. So if you don't know how to teach your child to talk. You have to learn how to teach them, right? So this is step 2 is where you dig in, you start your YouTube videos, you start your research, you join your class, you do your whatever, you figure out how to get the solutions you need because you know what the solution is. And if you don't, that's why you're stuck. Like if you don't even know what you need to feel better, to get this problem solved, that's why you aren't solving it. You don't even understand what your problem is. Full moon energy, like we got coming in right now. This is the last big super full moon that there were 5 in a row. So you could have noticed this building even. This is what the astrologers say. I'm not an astrologer. Big disclaimer, not an astrologer. I'm just telling you how I know how to solve this problem. But I know that the energy from the moon affects me, and I know that it affects the little kids of my clients, and I know it affects other people. So here's the deal. You figure out what your problem is. That's step 2. You figure out what you need to do to start walking, moving forward towards your solution, right? You pick a solution that you can do. And what I wrote here, step 2, actually, it's still part of step 2 because you have to figure out a solution, but there's a caveat to that solution. It has to be the right solution for you that feels good in your heart, okay? Ooh, sorry, my nose itches, so that must have been a really strong one. I was going to say it again. Find the solution that feels right in your heart, not the solution that worked for your neighbor, not the solution that your mentor said to do, not the solution that, you know, your doctor even said, dare I say. If it doesn't feel right to you, then don't do it. But if your doctor said 6 months ago that maybe you ought to eat more green stuff and you haven't been eating green stuff, and now it kind of feels like, you know what, maybe I should start, then that's the thing. Those are the ideas. This is what I'm talking about here using this moon energy. The moon is reflecting the energy that you're feeling. If you're feeling problem, the energy is going to reflect problem, worry. If you're feeling searching for solutions, the universe is going to bring you solutions at this time because you're searching for them and it's reflective. Okay? So now is the time for you to be looking for what's out there. Research, look at YouTube videos, study stuff. If you signed up for a program 6 months ago, get it out again. Look at those videos, see what it is. If you're watching my videos and you watched a couple and you were like, oh, I tried that thing before, get them out again. Look at those videos again. There is information everywhere that will show you. You'll watch something, you'll see something, and it'll go, yep, that's my thing. That's what I can do. You find one tiny thing that you can do today. If you need to lose weight and it's like, I'm going to buy kale at the store today and make a kale salad. But here's the thing. You have to pick something that you can do every single day. 7 days a week, every single day. Don't sign yourself up for boot camp today to solve that problem. That's not a life change thing. That's a big action. This action, this step 2 action has to be small. It has to be something you can do every day, and it has to be something you like to do, that you enjoy. If you hate going to the gym, don't sign up for the gym. You'll waste your money. If you don't like kale, don't buy kale. Don't waste your money because you won't stay with it. This little thing you choose to do to move forward, if you're language facilitating with your child, don't dig in and say, today I am going to never give my child cookies until they say cookies again, because that doesn't feel good. That's an action for sure. And that's the problem that people make right now at this full moon. They're like, it's not happening. I'm going to make it happen. Boot camp, not, force through this instead of using what you like and what feels good to you. This energy with this full moon, this affects our feelings. The tides, like these waves behind me now in the full moon time, are big. Just like the energy you feel inside you is big. But desperation doesn't solve problems. Desperation throws energy at the problem. This will solve my problem. Boom. No, That's not a focus on the problem. You need to focus on the solution. So if I take step A, is that going to get me towards step Z? Then I'm taking step A. But I'm not going to be so focused on step Z that I'm going to force the action and miss step through A through Z. That's the other problem that people have. They either get stuck in the worry and don't take action at all, or they take some massive action, this massive stuff, New Year's resolution time, you know, never going to diet, whatever. And then what happens 2 weeks later at the new moon when the energy dies? The effort dies. So that's why this step you pick at the new moon, this is the most important. I always say they're the most important. They're all important. Get over your overwhelm. Pick your problem, the thing that you can solve, the thing that you can do. So if you like walking or swimming or yoga or something that you really, really like, do that thing, but do a thing, pick a thing that you can commit to doing for 3 weeks, 21 days, every single day, without fail, rain or shine. Don't pick running around your neighborhood and then if it rains tomorrow, go up, can't do it because you have to pick a never fail thing, a focus, a task that you can laser focus on. With me, with losing weight, it was every day I'm going to walk. I don't know how far I'm going to walk, but every day I'm going to walk for an hour. And sometimes I walked half a block. No, it was better than that, an hour. But like I said, that was what I picked. And I made that commitment, and that's a lot, you know, because I was already in pretty good shape. So I walked an hour. I didn't have to drive to the gym. I didn't have to whatever. I didn't even change my diet. All I did was walk. And then later, as I got better, better things happened. So this is how it goes with the language facilitation too. You get started with the tiniest thing that you pick from one of my videos. You do it for 21 days, and then you will see difference. Okay, so step 3, pick a task. That is easy. Do it every day. Focus every single day. Pick something that you can do without fail for 3 weeks. And then step 4 happens at the new moon. Okay? So step 3, you're not finished with your 21 days yet. Still doing this. You're still in the process of doing this every day. But that step 3 is 21 days. 3 weeks. And step 3 is 3 weeks. This job I have to do every single day for 3 weeks. Because I know in my head, if I do this job every day, it's going to get me closer to my goals. That's all you need. That's it. One job, 3 weeks. So then step 4 is you at the new moon, which happens 2 weeks later. And this is when the energy is down. The period between the full moon and the new moon, the energy decreases. So full moon, new ideas, new energy, overwhelm. You have to get it balanced, get it organized, get it focused on a thing. Take that big energy and laser. That's why we call it a laser, because it takes big energy and it focuses on a tiny focus. And that's what you have to do at the full moon. Take the full moon energy and you are the laser beam. You focus it on your goal. One task you can do every day, 21 days. 2 weeks in at the new moon, or even if you're not a whole 2 weeks in, because it might take you a couple days, you know, the full moon's now, but you should do this. It shouldn't take you hard to figure out what this problem is, because this problem is keeping you up at night. So when you take your first steps, you should be able to know what that is within 20 minutes of closing your eyes. If you think about what this is, you'll know, right? My nose is itching like crazy, because that means that's kind of my physical statement that the angels or whoever is telling me this is on point. This is what you do. Stay focused, right? So step 4 at the new moon is evaluation, because the energy's quiet and introspective. Full moon, all about shouting your world, talking about it to everybody. New moon, introspective. What are we doing? Perceiving, learning, looking at your effects and affect. So looking at the effects you have affected on people. What's this done? What's happened over 2 weeks' time, or at least 10 days or whatever, hopefully 2 weeks' time between the full moon and the new moon, that has changed? What has gotten better? What has gotten worse? What have you noticed the change in? It's very, very important at the new moon to look for your patterns. What kinds of things make, and you may not have hardcore data. See, the ABA people or the business people, the analytics people, they'll all have hardcore data, charts and stuff that they're comparing, because they know that after 2 weeks' time, you better be looking at what's happening with the trends, right? Think about the stock market, the trends as things are moving. How is the trend of my action, where I have invested my energy, just like the stock market where you invest your money, what's the trend happening? And this is new moon time, where you figure out, all right, is this going up? Is this, am I seeing the results that I want in the ways that I'm evaluating? And if it's late talking child, your child may not be saying more words yet, but you might be seeing more engagement. You might be seeing more eye contact. If you're losing weight, you may not have lost a bunch of weight. You might have lost a couple pounds. 2 weeks, you probably are doing something. If you're doing something, you should notice a little bit of difference. If nothing else, you notice you'll feel better, right? And that feeling, whatever it is, good or bad, because maybe you tried something, you picked the wrong thing. Like you thought this was going to be easy, like boot camp. Maybe you signed up for boot camp and 2 weeks later, you're like, dude, this was a bad choice. It was too hard. It was too whatever. The new moon is your chance to get rid of the bad ideas, because we all have bad ideas. You know, I think I'm going to do cabbage soup for a month. You know, 2 weeks later, you're like, dude, I can't have cabbage soup anymore. You get rid of it because you evaluate how you feel. Like if the cabbage soup thing worked for you, you're going to know after 2 weeks, right? But if it didn't, you're going to know after 2 weeks. So after 2 weeks is evaluation time. This is when you get rid of the strategies that are not working for you, and you turn up the heat on the ones that are. The way you do that, because remember, at the new moon, the energy is flat, the energy is calm, the energy is introspective, but you make a new initiation, you make a new focus, a new intent to focus on your goal. So you head towards that goal as the energy builds between the new moon and the full moon. And the energy builds, you turn up the heat. And every couple of days, you're like, I'm going to make this a little hard. I'm going to walk a little farther if you're losing weight. I'm going to invest a little more money. I'm going to double down on that investment because it really is doing well. And these other ones, I'm going to take the money from this and put it here. That's what you do if you want to see progress. Because if you miss this step, this key number 4 step, this evaluation step, you will either get stuck where you are and, you know, because it won't continue to work. It can't, because life moves on. There's progress, right? It definitely won't progress. It will probably just die out. And that's what happens with people when they get going with any kind of project that is too hard. The secret of all of this, everybody, is if it isn't fun, it isn't fun. The moon's about our feelings. We have to feel fun. A challenge can be fun. Like, it doesn't have to be easy. Like, some people love the challenge of climbing Mount Everest. For me, no thank you. But I have done other challenges. I've jumped in icy cold lakes and climbed rocks and, you know, all kinds of stuff, because that was a fun challenge for me. Starting a new business, fun challenge for the entrepreneur who wants to build your life and help people doing something. That's what I do. Like, I literally shifted my whole life from working with little kids to coaching adults, because that's what I love and that's what's fun. And that's why every day I get up and I love doing what I'm doing, and I don't mind working 12 hours a day, because the end of the day comes and I was like, dang, I loved doing what I did all day long. I loved communicating about it. That's how you know you're in the right place. And if you don't feel like that, then you need to be making changes. And so step 5 is that, right? What I wrote here is, you know, work on where you can make those increases, make those changes. That last 2 weeks is where you do that analysis and you make the changes to try out the new, you know, like, let's turn up the heat and see what happens now. And then 2 weeks later, at the full moon, you know, you're continuing your process. You've hit your 3-week commitment and you're already making the next steps. At your new moon, you're already deciding, after 3 weeks, I know I'm going to be doing this now. Because at the end of that 3 weeks, you got to have something else to do, right? And you got to know before that comes what that's going to be. And if you do your evaluation process, then you know what that next step is. And then when you get to it, you embrace it, you turn up the heat, because by the full moon, the next full moon cycle, 28 days, 2 weeks after the new moon, we're back at the square one. And this is what I call the 6th step, is when you return to the top. And I wrote down release, recharge, and refocus, because here is the big energy. And if that cabbage soup you didn't figure out that it wasn't working for you before, at this stage of the game, it is totally out of here. You are totally sure, because it's illuminated by the energy from the sun is coming to the earth. It calls all that stuff to light. And because you have been evaluating, because your mind is always watching what you're doing, you're going to continue to see improvement. So when you recharge there at the end, at the full moon, at the next full moon cycle, then you catapult over and you start the process all over again. You pick your new thing that you're going to do, your step 2, the thing that you've expanded on, and the ideas and the energy will come to you always. And you might not have to do this kind of focus for too many moon cycles. You might only have to do it for 3 or 4 moon cycles. But when you think about it, that's 3 or 4 months. And in 3 or 4 months, you will have established a foundation for progress for yourself to solve your problem that you never would have imagined. You'll be able to generate everything you want to generate, because your focus will be about, I like doing this. I like this energy. I like what it is. Do you always get it back? Will it happen immediately? No. But you put your effort in and your effort will come back to you. You don't lose weight overnight, but I literally turned around 6 months later and I was like, dang, there I was. I lost 60 pounds. And it was because I walked and changed my diet and did my diet thing in 6 months, in a year now, but 6 months easy. Every client in my program is doing the same thing. They're looking back 6 months ago. I couldn't believe how worried I was. I remember me too. I mean, that's what it was. It took something big for me to lose weight. It took a realization that I was not well, and I had to lose weight to get well. And I got well because I had to. I didn't want to die. You know, I didn't want to be sick. I wanted to live life healthy. I want to get older with grace and ease and not have difficulty moving around, and that's why I changed my life. But something happened to catapult that, and it probably happened at a full moon. I should look at the date, because I know that it's the date that I made that decision. And you will too. So that's the thing, everybody. If you want to know how to make real change in your life, then you got to follow these 6 steps. You got to go with the moon cycle. And if you have a late talking child and you want to know your step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5, if you want to know all the steps you need to learn how to get your kiddo talking, that's when you can reach out to me at wavesofcommunication.com. If you want to try it out, most people try it out, honestly, for months before they work with me. And you know what? I'm good with that. I want you to do it. It's my mission to help as many parents as possible. Teach your late talking children how to use the words they need, how to stop worrying at night about your child's future, and spend every day happily facilitating language every day the best you can, step by step, so that you can also look 3 or 4 or 6 months down the road and see amazing new language that you never thought was possible, because you were thinking about stuff that wasn't available to you, and now you can have it. So that's what I do. That's what I help people about. I just got my intuitive self out here on video, and I'm telling the world about it. And yeah. So I hope this video was helpful. If so, please give it a like, share it with your friends, let people know about my crazy YouTube channel, where all I do is talk about language facilitation, give people tips, and try to empower you to do this, because your kids need you. They're not going to learn this language by themselves. They're going to stay stuck in these nonverbal patterns unless you, parents, help them get out. period, 100%, end of. All right, gonna get out of here now. Hope you enjoyed this video. I will see you all on my live Q&A on Thursday. So that's when you'll be able to ask questions and I can, help you get on the path to solve your problem. Talk to you then. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you all on my next live video.